Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and after a fairly inactive Thursday, I'm here looking to get the job done, getting some work in. I'm bringing you chapter 164, or the recent chapter of World Trigger. Now, again, this is a setup chapter because the way it ends really looks like it's setting up the next fight in that chapter, or literally the chapter after. So it's very close, which it's like the day of by the end of this chapter. So exciting lead up, brilliant discussion, few points I'm going to discuss. Without further ado, let's get into the review. Number 1, Emma Yuzuru seems to be motivated to fight. Now this is a smaller talking point, but it's important at the same time. The reason why is because as a fan, as a reader, and as a person who likes the story, it would be bad or disappointing to me that a team that we follow, Tamakoma B, was allowed to win and did not earn the right to be where they need to be, because surely that would put them in better stead than if they didn't earn the right. If they earned the right, they've proven to be the best or the second best and the right to go. That for me leaves them in better stead, preparation wise, experience wise, and everything as a whole by doing that. So by Emma saying he's ready to fight means there's no kind of a BS pull move later on or things like that that would damper the win. It'll be all out, it'll be outright, it'll be clean. Well, that's what I'm hoping. So point number 1, I like the fact that he's going in there, he's motivated, he will do his best. It'll just mean a better fight. Point number 1. Point number 2 I think was very important, but basically is Amatori Chika's ability, or Chikako as some people call her, ability to shoot. And I like the fact that Toma spoke on this, being a sniper himself, being one of the best snipers, 4th overall, number 1 sniper I think at the moment. I like that dude. I like his hairstyle, I like his laid back personality, I like the dude, and I like the way he's discussed the ability and the personality of Chika. Now I'll explain what he says. He effectively says she chooses not to shoot rather than she can't shoot. Back her in a corner and she will shoot. She has the ability to fight. She's not scared to shoot. Her personality is built for fighting. Now this is important because from our point of view, the reader's point of view, a lot of people in the forums, in Reddit, online, are saying that she won't be able to do that. They hate the fact that her personality is that way, that she can't shoot. I think this is the author's way of addressing that in a way that's not shoving it down our throats, but it's kind of like a hint where, kind of like the whole thing with Gohan back in the day of Dragon Ball, when push comes to shove, if he really gets backed in a corner, he'll come out fighting. It's a similar kind of concept. Now the next point, which is point 3, I'll talk on when I think that's going to happen, but it's important that the seed's been sown now to say, no, she has the capability, it's going to be a when rather than an if. So that's point number 2, Chika's ability to shoot rather than, like, choosing to shoot rather than not being able to shoot. Point number 3 is discussion. So there's a discussion between Yuma and Osamu about this conversation with Toma. Even Osamu is like, oh, Toma said that? And I like the idea that they show it in a slightly different way, because they said, so if she's backed into a corner, she will shoot. And then goes, no, we don't want her to feel that way. So as teammates, as friends of her, they don't want her to ever feel in a position where she has to shoot, be discouraged, to be like, really, her life depends on it type of thing. So I think that's a good and bad thing. It's a double-edged sword, the way you want to look at it, because if you don't put in those positions, she doesn't develop. But if you do put in those positions, that's you not doing your job properly as a teammate, as a friend, as a captain, as a leader. Do you know what I mean? So it is a double-edged sword. What this leads me to believe is one of 2 things. Unless something goes really bad in that fight and she has to shoot, then she will. Otherwise, I believe, and I strongly believe, that more than likely the situation is going to arrive when they're on the expedition. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm leaning towards that, but because there's a situation which I'll talk later on, there's always that possibility that it could happen in the B rank war. But we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Point number 3, Yuma and Osamu's conversation. Point number 4, trigger configuration. I always like these conversations because there's so many different configurations somebody can have, and one of the key hot topics was Hughes's configuration. What is it going to be? We now know. This time round, it's the evolution of Osamu and how we can really contribute. So the question is asked by Osamu. I'm thinking of changing things up to help out the team a little bit more. I want to add a trigger, which is fine, but there are consequences to that. So the consequence is this, and it's explained, which I really like. It's not just shown like, oh, what's happened there, we didn't know this before. In a battle, we get it explained in advance, the theory. It's one of the things I enjoy about this. So we get explained that every trigger you get equipped to your configuration takes a piece of your triad. There's a major amount for your bailout system, and the remainder is effectively what you use in battle. Now, because Osamu's trial levels are effectively low to begin with, that hinders him. So one of the clues that's been put there is maybe we need to look at using a different trigger rather than the trigger that you're using. So it could be that they get rid of Regos and they give him something else, but he uses shield instead more than he does the Regos shield. So there is that. But there's a thing that's been bugging me for a while. How do we overcome the low Trian ability? We were told that I think her name was Kotori. I forget her name. The one that's the lady that's in the Arashima squad, the squad that does the PR stuff, the lady that's in there that's jealous of him, that likes Kurosama, you know the lady. She apparently had low Trian levels, she trained it up and used it, and that enhanced the ability to use it. I think that is going to happen with Osamu. It's just a case of when rather than if. However, what I'm hoping can happen as a side thing is, because Hughes is now with them and there's going to be the whole expedition, that one of the imparting technologies that maybe we can get out of use, even if he leaves us, is the horns. Because first I just thought it might be beneficial to Kurosama. It will be absolutely beneficial to Osamu. I hope this is something that we get from that. That's very important. We also get one thing that's very important that we need to consider. Yuma is not changing his trigger configuration, and he gives us a reason. He says that, look, I know I've had Grasshopper for a while, but I've only got used to it recently. How recently, we don't know. Either is it the last fight, or is it in training that he's been doing with Hughes? I'm hoping it's the in training with Hughes, because that just makes him more deadly in the fight. Because bearing in mind, he's been adopting it as it is going along. When he first fought Ko, he wasn't as fast with it, and you know, even Thingy said, Ko said, oh, you're not as fast as you know, the character that he learned Grasshopper from, whose name escapes me again. I hate when this happens when I do reviews. But yeah, I like the fact that he's not changing it. He wants to keep it consistent, so that's not a flaw. Osamu's worried because he knows that Hughes is there now as well, but he just can't help but have that feeling. It's always good to have that feeling, because not everything goes right the first time round. That's point number 4. So point number 5, the countdown has begun, everyone is preparing, people are going over logs. It does seem that Kage doesn't do that. He might do that this time around, but it looks like he's more of an instinctual fighter. That's kind of how he's been expressed on previous chapters and whatnot. So I like the fact that there's a chance of him checking things out. Chika going to snipe, and then we see an interesting thing. We see Hughes and we see Yuma. We don't see Osamu really, but we see Hughes and we see Yuma appearing to be both in training halls. Are in the same training hall? Are they in that VR room together? I don't know, but it's interesting to bear that in mind. Now, that's basically the chapter. I hope you enjoy the chapter. I hope you enjoy these reviews. What I do want to say is, as always, thank you for those that do watch my videos. I really appreciate that. For those that watch, for those that subscribe, for those that comment. Now, for those that don't want to subscribe, that don't have accounts but like to check this out, please continue to do that. You do not have to feel obligated to create an account just to subscribe to me if you do not want to. That is absolutely fine. All I ask is you continue to enjoy the content, watch the content, and let your friends know about it if you feel it adds value and it's something that you enjoy. So thank you very much for your time. As always, for those who can, please like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.